pivot point for this. Okay? For this whole thing. I can stand here and I can go to all the different places I want to go, including thrusting. Because thrusting allows me to come forward, it allows me to go back, come again. Where if you're standing there and all you know to do to somebody to thrust at them is this, right? How tough is it? And not only that, attack, okay? No, wait a second. Attack on the thrust, right? So he sees you thrusting and all of a sudden it's just that easy. Because he's doing the body movement. One of the most dangerous things about thrusting is all of a sudden your sword and your shield are together, aren't they? So if he gets his tip on it and attacks like he did a second ago, what are you going to do? You going to get your shield in the way? Maybe. Maybe. All right. Now the other thing is, we've gone over a bunch of offensive things at this point about moving. The other deal is, though, is that if I do that thrust and he comes to me, defensively, I'm now here. Just with a body motion. He's swinging, and it's like, okay. And now with a body movement. So it's one of those deals where this just becomes a lovely little accessory. It pretty much goes anywhere you want it to. Now this is really common to the three of us because we're used to doing it. Right? It's normal. Trying to learn it's a little bit tricky. Okay, because you like to attack. It's like, okay, well if all of you is this way, and we're just gonna, it's like, okay. But if you just change that a little bit to where in B range you make it look like this, and I'm coming for you, right? Then that's fine, because you still did your, March to Rome kind of deal, but it's like, well, all of a sudden there was this. Because right now you just tend to go like this, and then you're shooting. But it's still in a very straight line. Right, right. Point A to point B is usually one of the worst things you can do. Why? Because 90 to 99% of everybody's targets is point A to point B. And it's almost like it's agreed upon somehow. This is the way we fight. Whack, whack, whack. Whack, whack. Ooh, he got me. Right? But it doesn't have to be that way. You can stand there. A lot of times, standing there in a practice and allowing someone to attack you, I call it the 3-foot drill, in that I'll give you a 3-foot circle and you can't leave it. You're going to have to defend and attack from there to prove to yourself that you can do it. Right? And then there's no straight in. You can't go straight in and shoot. You have to attack on one of the crescents, right? On the horns of the bull. You're either going to attack to this horn or this horn, but you can't just walk up and shoot. And when we look at it, when we actually look at a circle and we start bisecting, it's not just straightforward, it's not just linear. There's all kinds of diagonals as well that come off of it, which means that when I'm here, there's a diagonal here, there's a diagonal there, there's a diagonal here, there's a diagonal here. So depending upon what I want to do with the weapon, so I'm standing here and I throw to this diagonal and I suddenly go here. Okay, so with a body movement, I made this headshot into a face blow. Does it make sense? Yes. Body movement? Yeah. Yeah, but looks like there's a button here.
No, it just takes me a while to soak things in.
Okay. So conversely, it's the same sort of thing on a right-hander, that if I'm going to throw here and I take this diagonal here, then what I'm doing is I'm using His Grace's defense against it. Okay? So you're changing the sword angle to a point where it's coming in through a different vector. It's not coming through here anymore. I've actually changed it to where it's going there. And now we're back to where we started. So we do a body movement and we continue to combat, because if the shot's no good, if I don't get him in the face with enough power, right? If I miss, for instance, and I get him on the brow, now it's a head shot, not a face shot. So there's those kind of things you actually have to keep in mind. Did I hit him in the face? Or did I hit him in the helmet? It's like, does it matter to you? If the opponent falls over or acknowledges good, it shouldn't really matter. The fight continues until he does. Right? So that's why we're talking about walking up here and doing nothing but walking straight in and trying to hit somebody in a straight line. Pretty much you should be able to prove to yourself in like 30 seconds that that's not going to work. Now if you're quicker than they are or whatever, or you know, like again, if you're willing to walk into his graces, kill box, he's going to kill you. So there's no problem there. That's why when you try and start moving around, so everybody get on guard. The first one we're going to try is fairly obvious, and everybody's seen it. We're going to do snap, okay, and then we're going to go offside with no step, right? Snap, offside. Now you can raise the angle of the snap if you want to, but the idea is what you see, right? How simple is that to block? Right? Everybody sees it. Everybody's accustomed to this. Right? Because there's no trick to it. Once again, it's walking up to somebody and doing nothing but this, followed by that. Okay? So, with absolutely no body movement, how successful is that probably going to be? Right? It's not, is it? And yet we see it happen all the time. And then everybody's trying to figure out how to kill one another. Okay? So, if we go to throw the snap, however, and we throw the snap and halfway through we take this foot and come to him, and on the next one, cut him, we've done a complete body movement. All of a sudden it's like, whoa, that's a lot of movement. And it is. And it has to be timed. You need to set it up. Right? And then all of a sudden in the middle of that, his brace takes off. Or worse yet, comes right at you. And these are all the things that when we're starting to doing body movements, it's like, where's my center of balance? Can I actually take an attack? Because a lot of people, you've seen them too, where they do this part and then all of a sudden they'll do this. You know, I mean, they're reaching, trying to get there. They know that it's obvious. They know that's really obvious that that's open. So instead of taking a step or anything, they're just like trying to reach him. Like somehow, and we even saw that on the tape where these guys are reaching for one another. It's like, okay. So when we're doing sword movements, it's like, what can I do? And these are the object lessons when you don't even need a pal to do this. And it's like, okay, what can I reach in B range? Okay. I can reach all these. And you prove to yourself with your opponent that you can reach those just standing still. So it's fairly obvious because, again, 90 to 95% of the time, this is what's happening. Right? The falsity to it, or the falsehood of it, is the fact that with a very slight movement, yeah, all of a sudden, all of these are blocked. They're not easy to get to. Okay? So, we've given ourselves an object lesson that we can reach all these, and that's great. But when they're in their defensive stance, can we really get to them? So then you take the object lesson, okay, I'm going to go on my right diagonal. Full step, half step, quarter step. And it's like, now what can I reach? Okay. And then, the more advanced lesson is if I go here, now if I'm going to move this foot again, then where am I going to go? I can go to the diagonal. I could cut across, but this puts me in a pretty bad spot. So then it's like, okay, the next body movement is what?